Well, we are seeing an unsettling new video of the helicopter flight that killed NBA star Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 other people in Southern
Kobe Bean Bryant was an American professional basketball player. A shooting guard, he spent his entire 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers in the National Basketball Association. Bryant led the team to consecutive championships in 2009 and 2010, being named NBA Finals MVP on both occasions. He continued to be among the premier players in the league through the 2012-13 season, when he suffered a torn Achilles tendon at age 34. His next 2 seasons were cut short by injuries to his knee and shoulder, respectively. Citing physical decline, Bryant retired after the 2015-16 season. In 2017, the Lakers retired both his nose, 8 and 24, making him the only player in NBA history to have multiple numbers retired by the same franchise. The all-time leading scorer in Lakers history, Bryant was the first guard in NBA history to play 20 seasons. His 18 All-Star designations are the second most all-time, and he has the second most consecutive appearances as a starter. Bryant's 4 NBA All-Star Game MVP awards are tied with Bob Pettit for the most in NBA history. He gave himself the nickname Black Mamba in the mid-2000s, and the epithet became widely adopted by the general public. He won gold medals on the 2008 and 2012 U.S. Olympic teams. In 2018, he won the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film for the film Dear Basketball, 2017. Bryant died, along with his daughter Gianna and 7 others, in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California, in 2020. A number of tributes and memorials were subsequently issued, including renaming the All-Star MVP Award in his honor. Early life. Bryant was born on August 23, 1978, in Philadelphia, the youngest of 3 children, and the only son of Pamela Cox Bryant and former NBA player Joe Bryant. He was also the maternal nephew of NBA player John Chubby Cox. His parents named him after the famous beef of Kobe, Japan, which they saw on a restaurant menu. His middle name, Bean, was derived from his father's nickname Jellybean. Bryant's family was Catholic and he was brought up with this faith. Bryant started playing basketball when he was 3, and the Lakers were his favorite team when he was growing up. When Bryant was 6, his father retired from the NBA and moved his family to Rieti in Italy to continue playing professional basketball. After 2 years, they moved first to Reggio Calabria, then to Pistoia and Reggio Emilia. Kobe became accustomed to his new lifestyle and learned to speak fluent Italian. He was especially fond of Reggio Emilia, which he considered a loving place, and where some of his best childhood memories were made. Bryant began to play basketball seriously while living in Reggio Emilia. Bryant's grandfather would mail him videos of NBA games for Bryant to study. Another source of inspiration was animated European films about sports, from which he learned more about basketball. From 1987 to 1989, his father played for Olympia Basket Pistoia, where he paired with former Detroit Pistons Leon Douglas. Kobe would work at the games as a ball and mop boy, and would practice shooting at halftime, with Douglas sharing, "At every one of our games at halftime, it was the Kobe show. He'd get out there and get his shot up. We'd come out of the locker room at halftime and have to chase him off the court." Bryant also learned to play soccer, and his favorite soccer team was AC Milan. During summers, Bryant would come back to the United States to play in a basketball summer league. When Bryant was 13, he and his family moved back to Philadelphia, where he enrolled in 8th grade at Bala Cynwyd Middle School. Basketball legacy. Bryant was called one of the greatest players in the history of our game by NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, and the New York Times wrote that he had one of the most decorated careers in the history of the sport. Reuters called him arguably the best player of his generation, while both Sporting News and TNT named him their NBA Player of the Decade for the 2000s. In 2008 and again in 2016, ESPN ranked him the second greatest shooting guard of all time after Jordan. In 2022, to commemorate the NBA's 75th anniversary, The Athletic ranked their top 75 players of all time and named Bryant as the 10th greatest player in NBA history, the second highest shooting guard on the list, behind only Jordan. Players including Kevin Durant, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwyane Wade, and Derrick Rose call Bryant their generation's version of Jordan. The press enterprise described Bryant as maybe the greatest Laker in the organization's history. He was the Lakers' all-time leading scorer, and his 5 titles are tied for the most in franchise history. Both numbers he wore during his career, 8 and 24, were retired by the Lakers on December 18, 2017. In his first year of eligibility, Bryant was named a finalist for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame weeks after his death, before being elected a couple of months later in April 2020. His formal induction was delayed until 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In October 2021, Bryant was honored as one of the league's greatest players of all time by being named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. With career averages of 25.0 points, 5.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists, and 1.4 steals per game, Bryant was considered one of the most complete players in NBA history. He is the fourth leading scorer in league history with 33,643 points. He was the first player in NBA history to have at least 30,000 career points and 6,000 career assists, and was one of only 4 players with 25,000 points, 6,000 rebounds, and 6,000 assists. Bryant led the NBA in scoring during the 2005-06 and 2006-07 seasons. His 81-point performance against Toronto in 2006 was the second highest in NBA history, behind only Chamberlain's 100. He scored at least 50 points 24 times in his career, which is third in league history behind Jordan, 31, and Chamberlain, 118. 6 times Bryant scored at least 60. He was just the third player in NBA history to average 40 points in a calendar month, which he accomplished 4 times. Bryant was voted the league MVP in 2008 and led his team to the 2008 NBA Finals as the first seed in the Western Conference. During the 2020 NBA playoffs, the Lakers players wore black Mamba jerseys in honor of Bryant. Designed by Bryant himself, the black jersey features a snakeskin pattern with yellow accents and 16 stars, representing the team's 16 championships at the time. In Game 2 win against the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, Anthony Davis made a buzzer-beating three-pointer and yelled Bryant's name, while the team was wearing the black Mamba jerseys. Following a Game 2 win in the 2020 NBA Finals, LeBron James was asked about the jerseys and had this to say: "It's always special to represent someone that meant so much, not only to the game, but also to the Lakers organization for 20-plus years. For us to honor him, being on the floor, this is what it's all about." On January 26, 2022, coinciding with the second anniversary of his death in the helicopter crash, a statue of Bryant and his daughter Gianna was placed at the site where the crash occurred. Later in February, the NBA redesigned the All-Star Game MVP trophy as part of the major redesign of the All-Star Weekend trophies in celebration of the league's 75th anniversary season. Kobe Bryant accident. At 9:06 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on January 26, 2020, a Sikorsky S-76 helicopter departed from John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California, with 9 people aboard: Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, 6 family friends, and the pilot, Ara Zabayan. The helicopter was registered to the Fillmore-based Highland Express Holding Corporation, according to the California Secretary of State Business Database. The group was traveling to Camarillo Airport in Ventura County for a basketball game at Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks. Due to light rain and fog that morning, the Los Angeles Police Department helicopters and most other air traffic were grounded. The flight tracker showed that the helicopter circled above the LA Zoo due to heavy air traffic in the area. At 9:30 a.m., Zabayan contacted the Burbank Airport's control tower, notifying the tower of the situation, and was told he was flying too low to be tracked by radar. At that time, the helicopter experienced extreme fog and turned south towards the mountains. At 9:40 a.m., the helicopter climbed rapidly from 1,200 to 2,000 feet, 370 to 610 meters, flying at 161 knots, 298 kilometers per hour, 185 miles per hour. At 9:45 a.m., the helicopter crashed into the side of a mountain in Calabasas, about 30 miles, 48 kilometers northwest of downtown Los Angeles, and began burning. Bryant, his daughter, and the other 7 occupants were all killed on impact. Initial reports indicated that the helicopter crashed in the hills above Calabasas in heavy fog. Witnesses reported hearing a helicopter struggling before crashing. Investigations. On January 28, Bryant's identity was officially confirmed using fingerprints. The following day, the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner coroner stated that the official cause of death for him and the 8 others on the helicopter was blunt force trauma. The Federal Aviation Administration, National Transportation Safety Board, and the FBI launched investigations into the crash. The cause of the crash was hard to investigate, as the helicopter was not equipped with a black box. Over a year after the crash, on February 9, 2021, the NTSB declared that pilot Zobayan probably became disoriented after flying into thick clouds. The 5 board members also said Zobayan, who also died in the crash, ignored his training and violated federal regulations during the 40-minute flight. On February 28, 2023, Vanessa Bryant was awarded a $28.85 million settlement from Los Angeles County to conclude legal proceedings over graphic photos of the aftermath of the helicopter crash that were shared without the permission of the family. The figure includes the $15 million she was awarded from LA County in a 2022 civil trial, with additional funds to settle potential claims from her daughter's 20-year-old Natalia, Bianca, 6, and Capri, 3. Chris Chester, a co-plaintiff who lost his 45-year-old wife and 13-year-old daughter in the crash, settled for $19.95 million.
Subscribe to my channel.